Hey, this is Sean Hale with Sean Hale Woodcrafts. So 4 years ago, I actually did the wood burning on this guitar. And at the time, I took some video footage of the whole process of wood burning it and stuff like that with the intention of actually posting it up on YouTube. But for whatever reason or another, I didn't get around to it. I know I had lost my job. I did a complete career change. Now I live in a completely different area, have a completely new job, and I just totally forgot about it. So I actually ran across this old footage, and I wanted to share it with you because I had posted a video of me buying this guitar broken and doing a repair on it and then doing a setup. And I talked about how I was going to release the wood burning video, which I never did. So I guess better late than never, right? It's been 4 years. I certainly have a much better video camera now, and this old footage is like me in the garage. We lived on a really busy street. You could hear all this traffic going by and stuff. So just bear with it in the beginning. It's old footage, but it does go through the process of, wood burning the design onto this guitar here. So without further ado, here it is. Hi, this is Sean Hale with Sean Hale Woodcrafts, and today we're going to be wood burning a pretty awesome pattern onto this guitar. Now, I don't know if you caught the last video, but I bought this guitar as damaged. It had a cracked neck, needed a setup really bad. So I went in and fixed that neck and gave it a setup, and now I want to put this really nice wood burning pattern onto here. Now, what I've got in mind for this is I'm going to do kind of like a paisley pattern on this thing. And as you can see up close, there's a lot of detail in there. And I printed this out on 4 different pieces of paper so that I can just kind of splice them together and overlay this design over the whole entire guitar. You can see I got a little sunburst around the sound hole, and I went ahead and gave it a test burn where I burned some of this onto this board right here, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I think it's going to look nice across the whole guitar, having it on there. A lot of fine detail in here. This little thing right here took me like an hour, and I have the whole entire guitar to wood burn, so I definitely have my work cut out for me. But what I'm worried about most right now is sanding off this finish and keeping the guitar, hopefully in good condition and not damaging anything. Now, one of my concerns is that I actually think this, since this is kind of an inexpensive guitar, this is going to be just a decal instead of an actual, rosette with laminated wood inside there. So I kind of got to make a choice here. If I sand it off enough to get all the finish off, there's a likely chance I'm going to sand through that decal, but I also kind of like that and want to keep it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to be careful around that area. Just try to do my sanding as carefully as I can. I know this top is really thin as well. But if I happen to go through that, then I'll just sand it off all the way, and then I'll just wood burn, some additional design inside of that. So for now, let's go ahead and get this thing sanded, and then we can get on to the wood burning. Let's do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the strings off for this guitar, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it a little bit with some newspaper to kind of protect it. You can see I wrapped up the neck, and I'm just going to start with my random orbit sander, and I've got like 120 grit on here, and the finish on here is actually really hard to get off. And here I've got my finishing sander and then some hand sanding as well. This one's about 2 days worth of sanding. That, like I said, it's really tough to get off. And I'm trying not to sand through that rosette in the middle, which on cheaper guitars, I think it's like a decal, so it would be really easy to sand off. So as you can see, I just keep on sanding and then wiping it clean to see where I'm at. And I got to kind of be careful when I sand around like the sound hole and stuff like that. In fact, I wound up taping off the sound hole so that I wouldn't sand off those lines there, because I wanted to do my design around them. So here's some various sandpaper that I bought. This 3M purple stuff is really good sandpaper. So you can see I got various grits here, and eventually I'll get down to 400, for the final sanding. So definitely worth the investment for some really good sandpaper for sure. You can see the first little bit of actual bare wood right there on the edge. And that was after like hours of sanding. I don't know why this is so hard to get this finish off this guitar. So now I got to do all the rest of it like that. And like I said, being careful not to sand through that rosette pattern. So we're just going to keep at it with the sanding. And, towards the end, you're just going to use sandpaper and do hand sanding carefully. Okay, so you can see I got it mostly down to the bare wood. And I remember I actually used some blue masking tape, and I taped off that rosette pattern so I wouldn't sand over it. But it was really difficult, and I had to do it all by hand, getting close to that bridge piece and around that rosette and next to the neck. But once that was done, I was home free. So it took a few test prints to get the pattern to fit my guitar right, but I kind of got it fitting, and I'm cutting an area out for the neck, and then I'm cutting out some graphite paper, and I put that on the guitar, put the pattern over it, and then use like a red pen so that I can see what I'm doing, and the graphite paper will transfer the design to the guitar. But what you'll see is the wood is actually very, very porous grain, which is not ideal at all to woodburn onto. So even after I transferred the design, I couldn't see it very well. So I went ahead and used a pencil and actually drew over the transfer so I could see it better during the wood burning. So it was definitely a bit of a process. But you can see there's that red pen. It's very time consuming. You got to go over every little thing. And like I said, you can't even see it very well right here. So at this point, I'll take all this off and then just kind of take a pencil and really just draw in that detail. And it's all going to get wood burned over anyways, so it's okay to draw onto it. So this is my wood burning machine here. It's called a razor tip, and I actually can put different tips on those handles depending on whether I want to do straight lines or shading, or just depending on the kind of pattern that I want to do. So now I'm actually starting to do the wood burning on it, and I'm doing just the kind of the center area here, and then all those other pieces I'm just going to one at a time add on after the fact. It was easier than trying to get that whole design on the guitar all at the same time. So I'm just concentrating on a little bit at a time here. All right, so now I'll concentrate on this little area here. And then here's the part where I kind of, one at a time, I put those little, one or two at a time, I put those little paisley patterns on there. So again, graphite paper, detail with the pencil, and then wood burn over the pencil lines. So I kind of showed you in the beginning wood burning it, at regular speed. So now I'm going to do a little time lapse here because this is really, a few days worth of work to get all this wood burning done. It's a very slow process. And the shading that I'm doing here, I couldn't get as smooth as I wanted to because the cedar wood has just got all these grooves in it and stuff like that. So it's not smooth and it doesn't get smooth shading, so you kind of get like a rustic look when you're doing this. And you can't really fill it in with like wood filler or something like that, because then the wood burning isn't going to burn correctly. But all in all, I mean, it came out cool, but I wish the shading was smoother for sure. So now I'm going to kind of just do shading around all these areas here to try to give it a little depth and what have you. You can see how it's starting to take shape with the shading here. So the guitar I'm working on here is a Takamine GD20, and they're about $300 or $400. So I feel really lucky that I got this one for $90 and just did the repairs myself. Great grab-and-go guitar if you want to go camping or take it to the park or whatever. Now, if you're someone who knows how to do a good finish on an acoustic guitar, that's great. But I don't have like a spray booth or anything like that, so I just decided to go with the wipe-on poly. And basically, I just wanted to protect it. You know, it doesn't look all shiny and polished, you know, like out of the factory, but the wipe-on poly definitely protected the wood burning for sure. And taking all the paper off now, getting the guitar all cleaned up, and then I'm going to go ahead and string it up, and that'll be it. I'll be done with the whole thing. So it was pretty cool. I would say the whole thing, all said and done, you know, I didn't do it straight through, but I definitely spent a couple of weeks on it for sure. So we get some fretboard conditioner on here. May as well. I got all the strings off, right? And then we'll get our strings on. And I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a reveal and let you hear how the guitar sounds after the setup and all that stuff. It actually sounds pretty good. So like I said, I got this guitar for $90, and I repaired the cracked neck, and I did a setup on it. So I've got a whole video for that I'll link below. So if you want to see getting the guitar all set up and playing well, you can check out that video, which is the prequel to this one actually. All right, well, let's go ahead and play this thing so you can hear how it sounds and show you some pictures. I got it mic'd up with a Shure SM81, and it's just got a little EQ and reverb on there.